The revelation of the door gap. Xiefeng. December 21, 2022. Is there a gap between the door and the door frame? Even if the door fits snugly into the frame, there will still be a gap. When the temperature inside and outside the room is not significantly different, standing inside by the door, one may not feel any gap at all. However, when there is a substantial temperature difference between the inside and outside, standing by the door inside, one can feel the biting cold wind rushing in through the gap like a powerful stream of air. With the outside temperature below -30 degrees Celsius and the inside temperature around 15 to 16 degrees Celsius, even though there is no wind blowing outside, the huge temperature difference between inside and outside causes the cold air outside to rush in through the door gap like a hurricane. A pinhole-sized hole is not noticeable most of the time, but when there is a significant temperature difference between inside and outside, one can feel a continuous jet of cold air entering through the pinhole. This gives us some insight: even between two people who are very close, there are still gaps. When the demands of two people are significant and cannot be satisfied by each other, cold air will enter through the gap. This is probably the fundamental reason why extramarital affairs continue to occur, let alone when the relationship between two people is not very intimate. The same applies to relationships between friends. When the temperature difference between them is not significant, friends can support each other through thick and thin. However, once the temperature difference increases, betrayal becomes inevitable. From this, we can draw a conclusion: in all relationships, whether between nations, individuals, or between humans and society or nature, harmony will prevail only by maintaining a balance of temperature between each other. Once the balance is disrupted, conflicts and disputes will arise. The greater the temperature difference, the greater the destructive power and severity of disasters. For example, in a husband-wife relationship, if both partners have similar abilities and there are no significant income disparities, the relationship is generally stable. However, once one party's abilities and income far exceed the others, there will be significant gaps in the marital relationship, and divorce may occur at any time when conditions are ripe. Similarly, in the relationships between nations, why are the relations between countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada relatively close and strong, while countries like China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, and Venezuela can come together in special circumstances? The reason is that the temperature difference between them is not significant. Once the temperature difference is stark, cold wars and hot wars become inevitable. This further suggests that to maintain harmonious and intimate relationships with others, the first step is to maintain a basic balance of temperature between each other. For peace and prosperity in the world, countries need to interact with each other and avoid isolationism. To prevent extreme cold, heat waves, droughts, and floods in nature, humans must maintain a balance with nature, and human exploitation of nature must not exceed the limits it can bear. Once exceeded, extreme heat, extreme cold, droughts, floods, and various viruses will emerge and wreak havoc.